Hey guys, welcome back to the weekly break. Hello, Yassine, why you sad, bro? Why you sad,
'Cause
man?
I was gonna say, "Hey guys," and then you interrupted me.
Yeah, yeah. First come,
No.
first serve.
Ah, okay, that's how it is.
It's a competitive world, you know.
Mm.
Yeah,
What were you gonna talk about last time when you said, "Oh, I don't agree with you"? What was it that you didn't agree with me on?
I don't agree with you on a lot of things, man. I don't agree
You're
with you on a
racist.
lot of things. Ah,
You're racist.
shoot. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Anyways,
Consistency.
I'll tell you what I want to talk about. It's pretty interesting and it's a pretty hardcore mindset. I'm not sure everyone will agree with me, but it's the way I'm trying to think, okay? I believe that things are either black or white. Okay, there's no grayish.
Of
There's
course
nothing
you're
in between.
racist. Of
Ah, come
course.
on, man. It's either black or white. Okay, so it's either yes, I will do it, or no, I won't do it. There's no, I'll do it a little bit, right? So I'll give you an example. Um, let's say junk food. Let's say someone that really likes eating junk food. Junk food is their like it's what they love. It's their I don't know. It's what makes them happy in life. It's eating junk food. Some people it makes them happy. Okay,
Yeah.
and once they start eating junk food, they can't stop eating junk food. They order too much. They go a couple of days in a row because they just love it so much, right? A lot of people tell them, bro, it's fine. You can eat junk food, but just lower the dose, man. Just go 2 times a week. Just eat it when you can. But I'm not following that mindset. In my opinion, it's like if you really like junk food that much and each time you eat it, it's bad for you because you eat too much, then don't go eat junk food. That's it. Don't, right? If you're struggling with social media, for example, and you feel like you're scrolling on TikTok and on Instagram all the time, looking at those stupid ass posts,
Up to the bees, up to the bees.
that's what happens when you watch TikTok too much, right? That's what happens. You become like your scene. Well, just stop. Delete social media. If you can't control yourself around social media, then don't have social media. It's that simple. It's like it's either you can control yourself and you can keep it in your life and you can do it, or you just don't do it. It's that simple, right?
Okay. Ah, time for me
Let him
to
cook.
play
Let
devil's
him cook.
advocate. All right. What happens? I think that's not a bad mindset. Only problem is, what if I don't have the problem you mentioned where I don't eat too much junk food and I just need to eat it every once in a while? Because if I don't eat it every once in a while, I'm gonna overindulge in eating junk food every time I see a donut at home. But when I tell myself, oh, I can have it on the weekend, I'm like, okay, then it's fine. I don't have to eat it today. If with your mindset, it's
Okay.
like,
If it's about food, if it's about food, there's this rule, amazing rule that Alex Hormozy talked about. Alex Hormozy's here all the, it's as if Alex Hormozy's sitting with us in those podcasts, man. We talk about him all the time. It's crazy. There's
that's
this
pretty
rule
good.
where it says put in a 20-minute timer. Okay, tell yourself you really want to
Oh,
eat that
see.
donut, right? And sometimes it's about your diet, right? Like you're going through a diet and you're eating differently than usual and you're like no sugar. And sometimes when you eat, after eating, you want sugar, right? It's when you're used to it, that's the way it goes. If you put a timer on your phone for 20 minutes and you tell yourself in 20 minutes, if I still want that donut, I'll eat that donut. And you wait those 20 minutes, you won't be wanting to eat that donut anymore. You won't want it anymore. You wait 20 minutes and you won't want the donut anymore. But tell yourself,
But do you think
20
that's
minutes,
realistic though?
if in 20 minutes
How
I
many
still want it, I'll eat
people
it.
how many people are likely to do this? So let's say I'm out with my friend
Yeah.
and they're like, gelato, ice cream here, bro. And then I'm like, okay, guys, let me just put in a timer.
let me just set up a timer, man. No, of course not. Look, if you're going out with your friends and you want to eat some ice cream, sure. If you're not following a diet, just eat ice cream. Who cares at this point, right? If if it's on certain occasions, then it's
Then
fine.
it's not black and white.
No, it
It's
is.
gray.
No, it is. It's not gray.
Yes.
Think
Okay, I
about
see what you mean. I'm just trying
think
to
about
correct you because I don't want you to get attacked here by the TikTok police or whatever they're called.
man.
Mitchin
I'm
24/7.
I'm waiting for them, man. But it's more like, let's see. you know, um there's this saying that says, actually no, there's no saying that says this shit. I
I'll
invented.
tell you, I'll tell you something. Let's say you're someone who didn't believe in God, okay? And now you started to get closer to him. You
Yeah.
started to read, because my mindset changed about around this. You started to read the Quran, maybe, or the Bible and pray a bit more, but you're still not there. You're still kind of sinning a bit. If a man was to play the role of God, he'll be like, "Oh, you're going to hell. You either stop or you're going to hell." But God is not like us. God is willing to understand that you have to go through the process, that it will take you some time. And so that's maybe something I don't want to touch too much on the religious sphere, but where the religious sphere kind of gets in is people are like it's black and white. You're either fully Muslim from day one. I had a friend, he was like, I don't want to go into the religions because I'm not gonna be all in immediately. I was like, bro, like he was like, I'm not gonna be like you, for example. I was like, bro, okay, I get it, but you think what's better, to start and slowly get better, or to never be there, or to be, and or to believe and let God guide you naturally, because He's the one who will guide you at the end of the day, or not believe at all and be like, oh, I won't go because I'm not perfect, etc. Same with working out, for example. If you go with the all-in mindset, I had a friend who was like that. He was like, oh, it's either I hit the gym every 6 days a week for 1 hour or two, or I don't go. And he would go in for 3 months, and then after those three
And
months,
they
he'd
just
stop.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to
I think
say
it,
is,
I think it's
yeah.
different. I think it's like the examples you're giving is different because
Mm,
once you look, if you come in with the mindset white or black, and if shit, if you come in with that mindset, right, and you fail, but you still go back to that mindset and you still continue going on, then it's gonna do you more good than bad.
mm,
Now, religion is something different because as humans, we can't stop sinning. It's something that we do in general. So I will say that in religion there is gray for sure. Um, but if you want to touch on a little bit on the subject of religion without going too much into it, it's um, God, for example, says you can't worship God and money, right? You can't worship two gods,
mhm.
but that's being gray, right? That's being gray. It's being attached to money and being attached to worldly objects while at the same time being attached to God. No, it's either or. It's either you're
Mm,
attached to God or you're attached to human things. It's
yeah,
it's one or the other, you know.
yeah. There's
Um,
a saying, if a man has a lot of money but it's not in his heart, he should not fear. But if a man has little money and it's in his heart, then he should be pretty worried.
yeah.
So I think that goes back to what you're saying. But you're right, religion might be an exception because it's one where it's not easy and everyone has a different opinion, and God knows that people are different based on their character, their circumstances, so he judges them differently. But I just wanted to touch on those people that play God and are like, you're going to hell, you're going to heaven, and then they push people away completely from religion, or you're not as good as a Muslim as me or a Christian as me. No, bro, you're not God. And the moment you're that arrogant, I would go back and rethink, because
Of
that's
course.
arrogance is not good. But for the black and white mindset, when it comes to health, I think health is a good way to see where it's a bit flawed, that mindset. Because if you have the go all in or nothing, you might screw yourself. It's either I hang, even successful people who are healthy, some of them eat donuts on weekends or something, or get something sweet on weekends. So if you're like, oh, I'm not gonna eat those things, then when you're hanging out with them, you'll feel a bit off and they might look at you as extreme. Now, you're right to say that maybe your friends, the friends, the people you're around, you choose them, so if they're not like you, fine, screw them. But I just think it's a very short-sighted mindset that's not really realistic. Maybe for business, I like to think of it as seasons. I'll tell you why. There's seasons in life, and Alex Hormozy said this, where you might be like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
And then once you start freeing up a bit, you're like, yes, yes, no, yes, yes. So what I'm thinking of is it's more like seasons. When you're just starting out a business and building it up, maybe you'll have to say no to a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of friendships, a lot of things like that, and say yes to a few, the few that really matter that help you. But and then maybe in other seasons you'll be saying yes a lot more because your business is doing well, you have a team on your side, so you can afford to take periods off. Like Sean Ferris, for example, my mentor, when he started off, he kind of cut himself off from society and he had maybe a few days where he did something. And when now that he's rich, he's not working as much 40, 30 hours. He's working 15 hours and he has a team helping him and he's doing other things like
Yeah,
living live
yeah, yeah.
DJing. But he had stopped that when he was building the copywriting business.
Mm.
So I do agree with you, but I think the black and white mindset is not forever. It's not for the rest of your life you're gonna keep it. But you might disagree with me and I'd like
Yeah.
to hear.
Look, I definitely get your point of view, but I feel
Mhm.
like a black and white mindset just makes everything simpler. It doesn't make you overthink it. It's just
Mm,
the answer is always in front of you. There's no, yeah, but if I do this, then maybe I can skip the gym tomorrow, or maybe if I do that instead, then it's going to be okay. And it's great. So you can allow yourself to put in excuses. But when it's white and black, black and white is just the things are just in front of you. It's either it's right or it's wrong, and there's no like in between. Now, it is an extreme mindset for sure, and it does take a lot of time, I believe, to perfect it because of how complicated it is to follow things like to such an extreme. But I believe that it doesn't do any bad to believe it that hard. Now, I want to touch about a story that I've heard. It's there was this guy that was asking in one of our courses, in one of the courses that I'm in. He was asking, "Can I go to that party?" Right? And
mm.
a lot of people in the business community, they're like, no, bro, you can't go out to party. It's your prom party. It doesn't matter. You need to stay at home. You need to work. And it doesn't make any sense, right? It's your prom party, man. You're still a kid. Like, come on, let's just go to your freaking prom party, man. Do the right thing that you're supposed to do and have fun. It's not that one night that's going to change anything, right? And that's okay. The exceptions, those events, your grandma's funeral, you're gonna have to go. Okay, that's the right thing to do. You're gonna have to go, and gonna prioritize that on top of business. Business is less important than a family member, right? But if you're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go to that party every single Friday because on Fridays it's party night, and you're gonna start searching for parties every single Friday, then that's different. But the black and white mindset still works if it's that like one exception, right? If there's that one event, irrationally, you know what you have to do. You know that you're gonna have to go. And you're
Yeah.
gonna be, okay, fine. I made that exception. Tomorrow I'm back to what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, so you pick your own. I think what you're trying to say and where I disagreed is because you didn't make it clear that you have to pick your own black and white stuff. And you have to kind of
Yeah.
tailor it to yourself.
Yes, for sure.
Because maybe for you, every day that is not Friday, I'm working. But Friday is off and I'm going to party. And I'm okay with that because I'm working all the other days like crazy.
No, I'm not okay with that.
You're not okay with
I'm
that.
not okay with that.
Okay, what if, because maybe you're against partying, but what if it's like I'm going with a friend to walk on the lake and we go travel to a country every Friday, for example.
Look, if you, for me every single
Mm.
day you should be working. Now, if it's working on yourself and if going out to if traveling with one of your friends and discovering something new and talking about a lot of subjects for one day, I think it's fine. If you can allow yourself to do that, if you don't need necessarily to be there for your business on that one day, then fine, do it. If you believe that it's making you better. But it
Hmm.
shouldn't be an excuse not to work. It shouldn't be Friday is the day I travel, so I'm not gonna work.
What if you got all your priority list done before that?
What if you got all your priorities done before?
Because think of it this way, do you really become an entrepreneur just to be a slave to work? Yeah, like
Oh,
Goody once said, do you work to live or live to work?
we work to live, but it's I think it's more complicated than that. I think the competition that we're
Mhm.
in, this competition that we have to win, the other people that we're competing with are so good and are so harsh with themselves that if we don't stay with that single mindset of I've got to beat everyone, then you're going to get beaten. Because on that one day when you're going to go out with your friend and go out to wherever and travel, yes, you're going to gain some common knowledge and you're going to like be more happy with yourself or whatever. But there's going to be someone working on that day and who's going to beat your ass.
Then do you have a business? Because a business has to be able to run without you being there. I don't think, I think, I know this sounds weird coming from me, you know me, but I do think that many entrepreneurs or social media guys pretend to be working more than they actually do. They just come on camera and talk a lot, and to them, content creation is work, right? But they don't actually spend the time doing that stuff, those gurus that sell the courses and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But in reality, I think at the start you're right, but as you start to grow, okay, maybe you might have to work a bit, but you don't have to work in the same volume.
No,
Because,
for
yeah, that's something I would
that
say.
I agree upon.
And also, I'm not sure if they really need to work every single day, if they can still manage to find a way to to get their priorities and the necessary things done through the week. Now, whether or not this is good for them and their life is gonna feel good or not, that's a different story. Because Alex Hormozy said that he took a year off and then he was at the beach every single day and he hated that life because he had nothing going on for himself. And I'm someone who, if I don't have work to do, whether it be helping people or talking or like religious work or family, well, I don't consider family stuff work, but it could be friends, stuff we do together, or just stuff that are we're doing something with our life that's useful, then yeah, I don't feel happy. But what I'm trying to say is I don't see anything wrong with a person who has done all their work, going on a trip, who has a team and his business is thriving, going on a trip, and just sitting down. Because you say it does lead to overthinking. But I think that's the problem, Mark. When man was made to think, God created us to think, and many of the people who follow blind things, who become like the Tates, that start smoking. I saw a few shave their head, smoke cigars, dress like them, act completely like them. And those people, because they don't want to think for themselves. And my dad did
That's
say
totally
something
done.
that's so true, is he said many of the people that follow in Egypt or in general that follow those um, religious speakers they tend to follow them just because they want them to tell them how to think and they
Yeah,
don't want to think for
that is true.
themselves.
That is
And same thing with many of the people that consume content 24/7. Even if they do the work, they're just following the mindset without really thinking for a second for themselves. So that's also a problem I have with social media is a guy might say something and then he's like, there's exceptions to it, but you only see the part where he talks. But now it's not his fault. You have to learn to think for yourself.
for
And I
sure.
think we use shortcuts to not think for ourselves, right?
That is true.
And so when you say, oh, it's overthinking black and white, I feel like it's a way to avoid thinking,
It's
which is
not.
not bad.
It's it's not because by
Hmm.
figuring out what's black and white, you're basically thinking.
Hmm.
But look, that mindset is not made. I think it's made long term, but it changes, right? It's like you said, like
Hmm.
black and white, you're the one who defines what's black and what's white for you, right? You decide to what extent they're extreme and you decide exactly what you want to adapt in that mindset. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's always so much easier to fall into what you don't want to fall in when you get a little bit of it. Like so many people, and I'll give that example because there's actually I saw a news article about this recently, and it was saying how a lot of people consume porn during the week, like
Hmm.
multiple times a week. They fall into porn, even though they have wives and girlfriends. And anyways, on both sexes, not only men, actually, women as well. Now, there was a discussion about this, and we were talking about this, and a lot of people would be like, "Yeah, it's fine if you tell yourself that you're just gonna watch porn like once or twice a week. It's gonna be okay, and that's it." But recently, people have seen, and it's statistically proven that more and more people are getting addicted to pornography. Right? It's something that more and
Hmm.
more people are watching, and it's something that more and more people are falling into. So now, the advice that you're gonna give to people is it okay? Fine, you can watch like you can watch it once or twice a week, putting religion aside, okay, putting religion aside, as a human being who just believes in whatever, or you could just gonna tell people, yeah, it's fine, you can just watch it once or twice, and then that's it. Let's just hope you don't get addicted. Or do you just tell the people, no, don't watch it at all?
Yeah.
That's also part of that mindset. It's, do I allow myself to do something that's not necessarily good for me, not necessarily bad for me if I do it once or twice? Or do I just not do it at all and not risk it? Right? Do I eat a little bit of sugar because it's going to make me feel good for a little while? But I know that it's not bad for me, but in big dose, I know it's not harmful for me. If I eat a little dose of sugar, it's fine. But do I allow myself to eat a little bit of something that's not going to make me better? Or do I just not do it at all? I just don't do it at all. Right? And that's the
Depends on
mindset
the
that I'm trying
person.
to, that's the mindset that I'm
But
trying to, yeah,
I was gonna say depends on the person, but for things like porn and stuff like that, where it actually harms your brain, and then again, sugar does also harm your brain. I'm not
exactly.
gonna lie. But for things like that, I think, yes, depending on you, having a black and white mindset is necessary, to be honest, in that thing. It's kind of like levels. Li Life is kind of in levels. If
Yeah.
you're at level, if you're a preacher, right, and you allow yourself to miss the prayers, people are gonna hold on to that, and it's bad, right?
Yeah.
But if you're an everyday guy and you missed it,
Yeah, it's okay.
it's a little bit more okay, right? So I think the level also matches with whether you do it or not, right? But you're right that the black and white mindset is necessary if you want to be successful. But at the same time,
I think it's the high. Okay, it may not be suitable for everyone, and everybody may not be able to do it because of how hard it is, but it is the highway to becoming successful. It's like, in Switzerland we have those highways that are 120 kilometers per hour. In Germany, you can go up to 300 and a few on certain highways, right? So it's either you take it the very, very hard way and you go that 320 kilometers an hour, or you take the 120 kilometers hour route, which is a little bit easier, still hard, but a little bit easier, and it takes more time. And it's totally fine. I'm not pushing everyone. You have to have that mindset. It's just my opinion, right?
mhm.
I think that works on me. I still do make a lot of mistakes. I still fall into a lot of bad things here and there, but I think it helps me a lot because there's so many days where I I don't know. There were so many days where I was just in the gray that I was just tired of being in the gray. It's everything's I don't necessarily know if it's right or if it's wrong, and I don't. It's what I'm doing is not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily
No.
making me better, and I'm just there. So yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting mindset, to be honest. I'm gonna have to think about that one. I don't have
What did you think, bro?
more to say about it. Sorry, because it's always a dilemma for me. Should I go on that mindset or not? Because the issue for me with that mindset, and this is what I need to get better at, is my standard. I try to have it to others too, and that's something that's not good because others don't fall come to it, right? And the other issue is sometimes when I do make a mistake, because my standards here, I'm too hard on myself, so eventually I end up going down, putting myself down
Yeah,
because I made a mistake.
I see what,
So,
but it's more. You also have to think about it in a different light, right? If everything is, how can I say it? Give me a second. Look, if you actually believe that you want to make it, then every single day when you're gonna wake up, you're gonna realize that there's no other way but the black and white way. Even like a lot of other mindsets work. I'm not saying the opposite, but if you truly want to make things work for you, you're gonna realize it. Because I was like, I was thinking, I think we almost had the same mindset before, but recently it really shifted because I've been alone here, bro, and in like I've been by myself, right? And my excuses was always, yeah, I'm always with people and stuff, and I don't have time to work on business and this, and that. And I always had those excuses. And I was like, once I'll be by myself and I'll be able to fully concentrate, I'll be able to fully go in. And then you realize there's so many things that you can, especially when you're living by yourself, that you can be in the gray for, right? Like cooking, for example. I'm gonna be like, it's fine. Why would I have to cook at home and make some good food, some food that won't be bad for my health when I could just go eat at work for free? That's great because you know that eating at work is fine. It's not bad food, but you know that it's not the good food that you can do at home. But you're gonna be like,
But sometimes you don't have a choice because you can't be all white and I would argue with you, you can't be all black and white for everything.
for sure, there's a
Because
lot of
some things
circumstances
you
that
don't
are out
have
of
that
your
much
control.
time.
Yeah,
Like sometimes you might eat shit for a few seasons because you have to work on the business
makes sense
more. You can't
for
cook.
sure. And there's a lot of
And
things you can't control. There's a lot of things that, but as long as you believe that one mindset of it's either I do it or I don't do it, then everything changes because you just know what you have to do. If you force yourself to go to that extreme, if you fall in the gray. But if you're in the gray and you fall into the white, and then it's done. Then you're over with,
mm,
right? And so that's the thing. It's if you push yourself to do what's extreme, and if you push yourself the hardest, if you fall, then you're still gonna be at a high level, right, compared to others. Because while you're going to the gym every single day and you miss one day, there's someone who tells himself he's only going to the gym 5 out of the 7 days, and the day he fails, he falls to 4 days. That's the difference, right?
dang, I'm gonna be thinking about this on the tram. Fuck.
It's good. I need you to think, man. That's what this podcast is for. And I may be wrong, by the way. If anyone else has another opinion and they're not okay with what I'm
I
saying,
don't think there's right or wrong here. There's right for you, and that's it.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because others want, that's what I was telling you about social media. They want the right, this is the right way for everyone. This is the
Yep.
wrong way for everyone. No, no,
There's
it's
the
not
right way
that
for
way.
you. There's the right way for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
That's why we say think for yourself. There's many content creators that share a lot of advice. You
Yeah.
might listen to him and him and him, but you have to think.
Yeah. That's for
But
sure.
yeah,
And it's tough right now to think. It's tough. It's tough to be different, especially at our age. I believe it's now it's becoming a bit better, but especially for the next generations, I believe.
yeah,
But for us, it's really complicated.
yeah.
All right.
I can't say anything to be honest right now because I have to go, but also I have to think about this. I don't know where to settle on the scheme, to be honest.
We'll have to do a part two.
When I've thought about it a bit and tried it.
Yeah.
But you're right that when I used to work out before, I was much more intense because I mean this might have been a wrong mindset, but I used to take a lot of pride in being the biggest guy in school. So I would work out a lot. But then when one of people started working out too and their genes were better and they started getting bigger than me, I was like, ah, fuck, I'm not gonna be the biggest anymore, so what's the point? So then I had to move on to the mindset of now I'm trying to get into this mindset. I'm working out to be strong for my family and kids. But also since I am a bit ahead of some people, body wise, and I like how it looks. Sometimes I put in a bit of effort and I get great results. So then I'm like, oh, I can stop for a bit because I'm not going to lose everything. It's fine. Or I can slow down a bit. It's fine. And that's where it fucks me up because if I had the mindset of I have to work out to be strong for my kids, and every minute I'm not doing this, I don't know, I'm gonna lose it. Or I have a few years left to be as strong and as powerful as possible because once I'm gonna hit those years, I'm gonna start losing muscle naturally because we get older. Then maybe that would push me more because it's like I either give my all now and or I don't, or I don't, and I just accept the fact that I'm gonna be old, weak, and not strong like other people.
Yeah.
But sometimes also it's this mindset of, well, right now the business is a priority, right? I have uni, I have all these things going on. I can't just stop the business. I have to, health can wait later on anyway. It's not like I can pay for the best foods. It's not like I can sleep well, so it's fine. Health will come once I have money, right? Or I'll give better to more, do more cardio and stuff when I have better, more money to spend on health, more independence, more stuff, etc. And this is what fucks me up, I think.
Yeah. I definitely get it. But it's always it's hard to stick with that mindset because it's not if you fail with something, it doesn't mean that you fail with everything. And we said that in the last podcast. It's if you do something wrong and if you fall, then you have to double down the next day and try and be even stronger the next day, right? And that's the thing that you have to always understand as well with that mindset is if you're in the gray, it's an extra reason for you to be more in the black tomorrow, right? It's a more reason, it's a more reason for you to push yourself. That it's terrible because so many people hate that mindset, and so many people I know that I've told about this mindset, they're like, Mark, you're crazy. Nobody can live like this. But if these are my standards and my standards fall, I'm way ahead of everyone else. You know what I'm saying? It's just in this competitive world and in this world where everybody's trying to make it, you have to go to such an extreme and you have to push yourself to such limits that even if you fail one day, that you're still ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I had that mindset with religion, I had it in everything. It affected everything because I was like, I don't just want to go to heaven. I want to go to the highest level of heaven. And when I had that mindset, when others were like, "Oh, wow, you're a bit extreme with this thing of," I wasn't forcing anything onto them. It was just maybe, I don't know, I was being more careful with how I spoke. For example, I didn't want to swear, for example. Or I was putting the intention of working out so that when I meet God, I know I have given my all. And people were like, "Yeah, but family, oh, it's okay, God will understand and stuff." I think the issue with how I did it is I put so much pressure on myself to the point where when I failed, and I think you were with me there, I felt like shit. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm a terrible
Beat
human."
yourself up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And what's tricky with this mindset is the balance. It's okay, it's good to have this high standards. You failed today, you're in the gray now. I think this is where you're not in the black now. You're not dead still. You're not in hell, right? And you can get back up. You can get back up, but you have to choose to get back up. You
Yeah.
have to be willing to get back up. This is the trick for me because I've always had that mindset of it's either all or nothing. It's either black or white. It's either you work today or you didn't, and now you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know
It
what?
all,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna bounce on something that you said. You beat yourself up for it, and I think you needed to beat yourself up for it because when you fail, you need to beat yourself up for it. But the
yeah,
key is like exactly what you're saying right now. You beat yourself up for it, and the next day you wake up and you do the things you need to do, and you start
yeah.
over every single day. New page. You start over. Okay.
It's
You
about
fail.
how much you beat yourself up for. Like, does it take one day or 30 minutes or the whole week?
You know, man. You went out with your friends for 1 hour more than you should have. Right.
Yeah,
You come back home. You didn't get the time to train because you decided that like I don't know, you went out with your friends, came back late, decided that you weren't gonna work out because you came back home late. You beat yourself up until you go to bed. You go to bed, and the next day, the first thing you do is you work out twice as hard. That's it.
yeah.
You know?
It's like with marriage, when people fight, they
Yeah.
should forget about it the next day maximum. It's over, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's kind of like you fucked up yesterday. S- still, try to catch up today if you can. But if you fucked up to the point where you can't catch up, then do better tomorrow,
You know,
and the week.
it's amazing that you say that. It's like having a wife. Okay, you have a wife. You get into a huge argument. You're in the wrong. It's either the next day you wake up, you get up, you do the effort of waking up early, you make her breakfast You bring breakfast to her bed, you prepare all the breakfast and stuff, you go out and buy her flowers, or the next day you just double down and sorry, or the next day you don't double down, and the only thing you do is just tell her, you know what, I'm sorry, and then she's still gonna be mad. So it's either you go out, you do more effort the second day to catch up the mistakes that you made yesterday, or you fall into the trap of just, you know what, I was wrong yesterday. I'll beat myself up for it tomorrow. I'll leave home early so that she doesn't see me, so that we don't talk about this problem, and then that's it. Anyways,
Fuck.
it's a
I have
mindset.
to think. I
It's a
have to
mindset to
think a
think
lot
about. Yeah,
because I had that mindset, but I think I was doing it wrong. Dang. Well, yeah, no, bro, I don't have chapeau today. I don't have much to say, to be honest. You
chapeau.
cooked. You cooked.
Perfect, man. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, man.
perfect.